welcome everyone.
Yeah, hi. So, Arya, just let me add to that. So, the very important word that is there in the assignment is abstraction, right? So, the thing is, I would just want you to relate it with the example that is given on Metro in one of the slides in week one, right? So, what was the idea? Initially, the maps on Metro that were drawn basically covered the actual physical maps, right? So, it was becoming very difficult for the passengers to actually route the destination and location and the platforms or stations that were coming between those, right? So the what was the solution to that? To create a map that is not exactly very related to the physical one, but gives the idea of what needs to be followed, right? So basically what we need to do is get an idea of a particular place, right, of your interest, and take something that is that you want the users of that particular abstraction get understand when they see to that map, right? For example, the gurudwaras that were taken, so that would give any person who wants to go to gurudwara and I mean, looking at that map, it becomes very easy for them to follow the paths, even though it is not very much related to the physical one. Okay. Now, the external or the extra things that were covered in the map can be the landmarks, right? Because if I'm trying to relate a physically present map with an abstraction, I should be able to relate them with some checkpoints, I would call, right? So those checkpoints would be the landmarks. It becomes then it forms the one-to-one mapping or correspondence between the actual map and the abstraction that you're creating, right? Are you getting what I'm trying to say here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So
Yeah.
basically, the whole idea is for you to not generate something from a map and come up with a very regular shape something. That is the idea. But the thing is how to do it. It's not that we have to follow some tool and look for the exact map and all. The idea is to get a visualization, a map related visualization clear by not exactly going into the physical map, right? You should be able, or the users of your map should be able to guide themselves to a particular place and should be able to relate them with that particular place. And the very good example is the metro that I've given, right? So even in the part where it covered the river and the bridges, right? So what was done, the proportionality was kept, so that the users of that map could map all these points. Okay, this is the river, this means this should be that road, right? That was the idea. So for example, if you're taking some probably hospitals in a particular region, okay, the best way to go to that hospital is a physical map, but there are very few who understand the physical map. Abstraction, on the other hand, will remove all those small pavements and small roads which are not really required, and replace them with something that is more of landmark, which users generally understand and can relate to, right? So that is the whole idea. And I mean, and since this can be done with number of ways, we cannot recommend a particular tool, although we will ask this to the professor if there is a tool that can be a starting point for the students to go ahead. But as I said, like I mean, mentioning something will force students to strictly follow that, and then the component of what we call as experimentation goes down, right? So that is why we don't recommend on particular things, use this for this, use this for that.
Okay, okay, sir. So, but like, I mean, from the samples that I was seeing on GitHub, so
Hmm.
I mean, I had seen lots of people using these sketches that they were drawing on paper,
Hmm.
pen
Right.
paper, and then putting it on. Then they were using OpenStreetMaps or
Hmm.
some other tools, and also even Google Maps up on top of it to
Hmm.
overlay it and then compare it with the actual map.
Right, understood.
So
So yeah, so I mean, see, the pen and paper, I mean, suggest you to go for it if you want to really understand what are important components of the map, what you want to keep, and what you want to eliminate. Right, because I'm not sure if that is possible for any tool to select particular things that you want in the map and remove the others. Okay, so what you can do is take the map from the area. All right, have a rough pen and paper sketch of it. Mark things that you really want can play as a landmark or something that is intuitive enough to give certain information on the map, and then maybe come with a tool which has more regular figures. And I guess that was the procedure that was followed in that particular assignment.
Okay, I mean, from from what I saw, like I believe, like initially, I got a feeling that people were initially making the maps from like just from the memory, as in like how they traverse that place, and then they were
Okay.
translating it into OpenStreetMaps and Google Maps. So that is what I understood from seeing these issues. And then I mean, I was like, so I mean, I'm not able to get what could be the good starting point. Like,
Hmm.
so from what you are saying, it I get a feeling that it might be better to start off with the actual Google Map or something, and then kind of abstract it on
Right.
pen
Yeah.
paper, see how it works. But from
Yes.
what the issues on GitHub were doing, they were doing probably the opposite way. So I'll just, so we are open to experiment and see what works
Right,
out for
right.
us, right?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we want to see that abstraction and how well it connects to the actual area. Right.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Okay, sir.
So, sir, is any restriction is there that it has to some restaurant, temple, or grounds or schools or
No,
whatever
no, no.
able to cover it in the small area, and then we need to
No,
highlight it, right?
that's what. So what I'm trying to say here is when you create an abstraction, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I took this example of hospitals, right? So
Mm-hmm,
if you
right.
want to locate certain number of hospitals and want to guide, you want to create a map that is easily able to guide the users or of that map, what should be done? Things that have a real importance, which users might understand. For example, if there is a water tank somewhere around which is taken in general landmark taken as a general landmark, why not keep it? Okay, other rather than a stadium which nobody knows of.
Okay, okay, okay. So,
Right, so you
importance of
have
the
to decide.
location. Yes.
Right, right. So apart from the hospitals, see, hospitals are there, which will be the destination and location things. What to put between those so that you can guide the users? So that will depend on what is the significance of that particular thing. Is it really important? It is not. Is it taking a lot of place? Is it really disturbing my abstraction, or is it really fitting into my abstraction? That things have to be taken into consideration.
Okay, okay, okay. Understood.
Okay, so yeah, Arya.
Yeah, so I mean, sir, you just said about that important landmarks, right? So it
Hmm.
could also be something that that people are well aware of, but something like, let's say, a shop or something which is very old, and most people in the locality know about
Hmm.
it, but it might not be a very significant like water tank or something. That is also
Hmm.
okay, right? Or
Yeah,
not?
yeah, 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 yeah. That's what.
Okay, sir.
So,
Yeah,
something, see, the whole purpose has to be served, right? What is the purpose? You should be able to guide a person from one place to another. Okay. If
right.
it becomes a lot easier if you have small checkpoints which he can confirm to that, okay, I am here, this means I'm on the right path.
Yes, sir. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So that has to be followed.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir.
So, Mishra, yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, is it possible to provide the YouTube link of these sessions also?
Yeah, yeah, sure. We'll be there later.
Okay, sir. And is it possible to shift the session after evening? Because this time is not possible to join
All
every
right.
day. So,
Yeah, all right. So, Jimmy, we have to actually look at the time which
Yeah,
maximum students can join.
actually, we had circulated a form and the form was completely random. I mean, someone was saying morning, someone was saying evening. I mean, lot of people were a lot of confusion were there. And the two preferable time which I saw like the most of people estimated around Friday 9 to 11 or Friday 10 to 12, something in between this, or maybe Thursday evening. So these two time slot I saw, like, yeah, mean people were suggesting, and obviously like it was completely randomly distributed options. I mean, different people had different suggestions for the.
okay, sir. Okay. Yeah. Just
Yeah,
look into this. It will be helpful.
yeah, yeah,
Yes, sir.
definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just an immediate session for today, but yeah, this time won't be there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Okay, sir.
okay.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, we are looking at timings that are more, feasible for even the learners working outside, right? So they can join in. So our idea is to get a slot that is somewhere around in the evening, and probably because of other sessions and clashings and all, we are not able to really put it in one place. But we are trying to, the form was one of the parts of it. So we are trying to do that so that we have a set time where this becomes a mindset. Okay, there is this session. A random time will definitely not help. So we are working on it.
Yes, it is. Actually, from this time I joined TA-ship, so I am in NSC working right now. So that's why I'm asking.
Okay, okay.
Okay, data meet and Jadev, is this because okay for the maps and everything?
It's just a suggestion. This is basically certain map related data sets that are available. The levels of abstraction that you are talking about, this is going to cater to the bottommost layer. It's actually just going to draw the map. And then on
Okay,
top of that, we'll have to do other things.
all right. So this data meet, is it Tejas sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah, okay. Other than that, I would suggest Sir has shared that slide. Have you gone through that, Arya? I mean, that slide, actually, each and every point was discussed in that slide very clearly, like how you should uh, approach this problem. Okay, let me just show that.
I'll go through that, sir. Like I haven't found the time yet, but I'll go through. I
Yeah.
saw that. I think there are also additional resources that have been references,
Yeah.
etc., that have been
So
shared, right? So
yeah, yeah. Here, if you see, I mean, sir has clearly mentioned like there can be a different type of maps, like accurate and real, geographical, fictional map, mind mapping. All these things can be there. Then, so he has shown some examples like which you would have also seen in the, I think in the week 2 or week 1, I don't remember. Okay. After that, if you see, like the first question, it would be something like start by deciding where is the map and like how, who, why someone will view it, and you are you are creating that map for which type of peoples. Okay, and after that, I mean, you have to choose the scale. So you see, I mean, here he has mentioned like how you should approach these questions. I mean, like finding your map's audience and purpose, and after that, obviously the mental model and all. You see, these kind of shapes are also good enough. I mean, the part this type of 3 4 shapes in a map can be a good enough.
okay, sir. Sir, so in our submission, like I've seen lots of people doing a comparison and also overlaying it with this actual this physical map from Google Maps or something. So do you think that is an important component for this like assignment, like or
Comparison part.
sorry? Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, 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 yeah. Like
okay.
this example only, like you can see above. Yeah, so they have overlaid it with an actual this thing.
Yeah, so I think it is so they want to represent like from where this map came, and yeah, after that they have mentioned all these things. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yes, okay, sir. And also I've seen as you're showing scrolling down, like lots of these abstractions and iterations and steps are being shown. So like what are the different workings that they have done step by step to make it more abstract, I believe. So I mean,
Yeah.
so this is very detailed, as in I don't have any much experience with this, but I'll just have a look at this. But if there could be some more resources which is a bit more like I mean the way they've organized everything and kind of
Okay. Okay.
like just to get hands on, because this looks like a bit I mean the level looks much more detailed and very high level in comparison, because we are just beginners. So I hope I'm like able to convey what I'm trying to say. But
Yeah, 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 getting it.
Yeah,
and
right,
like
Arya. So what we'll try
yeah.
to do is definitely try to get some tools for you so that how to get abstraction from the real maps. If that is a possibility, we'll try to do that. One thing. Second thing, the thing is, why do we see this so many levels and corrections and steps? Is probably because there were processes, right? So the first submission, then reviews on that, then correction, then submission. So there were stages on which this was evaluated, right? Unlike ours. So what we'll be doing, the question statement, and then there will be one submission.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Review
Okay.
will there will be review and there will be marks. So it's not like this is not a project, right? So we don't want you to actually put a lot of time and number of weeks into it.
Okay. Okay, sir.
It is a weekly
But
project. What? Yeah.
but at least, sir, whatever we are putting it, you can put one session and through what are the problem we are facing. It
Right.
doesn't depend what marks you are giving. Okay,
Right.
we are
Right.
giving zero also, no problem. But at least what
Yes.
mistake we have done, so that when we are going into the final project, at least we
Yeah.
can learn
Yeah,
the mistake
definitely,
and we can
definitely. Yeah.
correct
So
it.
these will be reviewed by, I mean, all the instructors as well as the prof. Right. It's
So
not that you
basically,
have submitted and you got the marks. Right.
Actually, it's a really different kind of learning. Till now, we came in the IIT course. Okay,
Right.
it's a very very different thing.
yeah, that is true. And also there are rubrics. I mean, we have certain parameters based on which we will judge the questions. I mean, we will judge the submissions. Okay. So that we can definitely share. I mean, how we have judged and all.
Yes, sir. I mean, like, if I take example of MLP, like you used to say that initial questions would be like MCQs, so we can keep track of ourselves that if we are in the right direction. So
Yeah.
something like that only, if we can have some kind of pointers, etc., so that we know what we are expected to do, and maybe also some idea of how we are wanting to do that. So that would be very helpful.
Yeah, okay. We will share. For second grade admissions, we have not defined the exact points like based on which we will judge. But yeah, for the first assignment, we have already decided like based on what parameters we will judge the submissions. Okay, so that's the thing here. Yeah, and I think yeah, they have shared a few good things.
So actually, I had another question.
Yeah,
Can I share my screen?
yeah, please.
So I just maybe 7 minutes ago I received this email from Google Maps.
Okay, okay.
It basically tells me here's my timeline update for January, right? And
Yeah,
it tells me that I was in one country in 2 cities and 19 places. This is how much I drove. This is the only city I visited or whatever. These are some places I visited, right? And this was very interesting because it keeps telling me things like which was your busiest day depending on travel,
that's true. That.
right? And when I look at that, it's very surprising in certain senses because that day was a weekend and weekends are typically not busy. And then when I look at it, I really found out that, okay, I did visit too many places that day, I did drive a lot that day, and so on. So this is a good source of data, the way I see it at least. So for this assignment, does it have to be, something for tourists alone, or can we do some sort of personal stuff as well?
You can do
Like, can
your
I
personal.
simply take my data from Google Takeout or something and plot, let's say, my busiest days
Yeah, you
on
can take
maps
your
and
data.
something
Yeah.
like that? Or does there
Why
have
not?
to be like some general public theme to it?
No, 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 no. You can take anything. I mean, see, what sir wants to see here. No, I mean, whether you are able to create those schematic maps or not. I mean,
Okay, okay.
how much depth is there in your maps and all. Okay.
All right, all right. So basically, here basically the following steps for your schematic map in the steps you've mentioned: scale, audience, and purpose. That audience could be just single person also. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like a general audience, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So there is just one component to this. I mean, you can work on this, but talking about the one component here, it should be useful, right? So I mean, the data that you are mapping is based on your past voices, right? So you have been outside for this place, and for these are the routes, these are the busiest days of your month. That was okay, but that is all in the past, right? How can you make this data useful for your future prospects? That is what
Yes,
you
yes.
need.
So it cannot be simply some representation of that
Hmm.
dump. It has to be
Correct.
something
Yes.
more than that. Yes, agreed.
Yeah. Even yeah. So even if the audience is you, if you have created some abstraction, so how can I use this abstraction so that I can select that parameter and reduce that effort? And how is in short, how is this useful to me later?
Got it. Yeah. How can I plan my travel better? Maybe?
Right.
Given
So, for example, if in some reason or for some from the information that you have and from the maps, it said that in mid of February, this week, I had traveled a lot from this particular route, and what was the traffic. So I know that okay, this is general trend that during the mid of February there is this much traffic. So what should be the other route that I take? Something like that. I mean, some intuition to future things. That is what I'm trying to say.
got it. Yes.
Other than these, any issues, any major issues you guys are facing in first 2 weeks, or anything you would like to bring into the light?
So like right now it's fine, but like when we will have the quizzes, so for that like I'm not getting like what kind of questions will be there and like what will be the theoretical aspect of this course. And every assignment till now is like very practical, right? So and also there is another criteria in the gradient document that we have to attempt 80% of these practice questions for the grade. So I mean, what are these practice questions? Because usually activity questions aren't considered practice questions, right? So there is
Yeah,
some confusion with that also.
here you can consider activity questions only as a practice
Okay,
part.
okay. So we have to attempt 80% of the activity questions to basically get a course grade.
Yeah, and other than that, we would have mentioned these things. No? I mean, graded assignment, how many graded assignments you have to submit?
Yeah, 3 out of 5. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like what kind of questions are we supposed to like theoretically prepare for some quizzes or etc. Like, will they be similar to activity questions? Like,
Regarding the exam quiz purpose, so
yeah.
quiz, at least I would also say the first part would be these theory questions, and apart from this, the additional materials.
Okay. So
Okay.
the Google document that is shared for additional materials that also needs to be gone through.
Uh, Not that Google document. I think if you see in the drive, we had one folder. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Where like per week it is given like a per week one these two things are there, something
Oh,
like that.
okay. 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 And I think also, sir, I think week 2 there are some activity questions which are considered as graded for some reason. So is that a like choice or like is that some kind of bug which can be fixed? Like
Okay, let me check that. And in week two, some questions.
yeah, week 2 I think there are some questions if I remember correctly which are basically being considered as graded.
Okay, okay. Activity question 2.4. Okay, okay. It would
Yeah.
be a bug only. Don't worry, we will fix that.
Okay. And basically for like all these graded questions, whatever submissions we are having for only on GitHub, right? Like we don't have to submit anything on the portal,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
On the
okay.
GitHub only.
Okay, okay. Nothing on the portal. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Apart from this,
Yeah, right.
anything.
So as far as the quizzes go, I mean, this will be one of the components, the theoretical questions, but it will also have. I mean, we expect that it will also have a component where you have to practically do something. This is why am I saying this? Because see, I mean, when you talk about data visualization or any visualization, solving it or evaluating on the based of some numerical based questions or multiple choice question will not be the justice, right? So we are in discussion with professor on how to go about quizzes, so probably in 1 or 2 sessions we'll be in a better position to guide you on I mean how quizzes would go, right?
In
Okay,
any
sir.
case, can we do something like from next live session or any live session? It doesn't even have to be live sessions, but can we get more hands-on? Like we essentially, let's say, have 1 to 2 hour sessions where we actually do things, create maps by not maps even, create visualizations
Right.
by hand. You do it, we
Correct.
do it, and we sort of like let's start just the way we used to do with MLT and MLP.
Right. Yeah. I understand. So that is
There is
again in the process. So see, the thing is, this is the very first run of the course. So we also need to see what is the what things are practically possible. This is one thing that is again in the pipeline. That how do we take those solve with instructor type sessions where
right. Yeah.
we do something by ourselves and give that information, with some tools and all. Right. So yeah, so that is under discussion. We'll be in a position to speak on that again in a couple of sessions later.
Cool.
Basically, the issue in that type of session is that here sir is thinking like, I mean, different people are coming from different background. So sir doesn't want to impose any tool to everyone. I mean, the single tool to everyone. So I mean,
No, I agree. It's just that, if we see certain things happening, and I think by now, since now we are in the degree
Yeah.
level, we should be smart enough to understand that tools are not the point really.
exactly.
So if for example, I was also thinking that if somebody from previous students of this course, not this course actually, but whatever course is actually happening that
In IT
the
Bangalore,
professor
yeah.
is taking, yeah, those alumni could come and talk to us about some of their projects and things like that. That will be useful.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. We can discuss that.
And anyway, I think you're making this clear very often that we don't want to impose tools.
Yeah,
So once that is made sufficiently clear to people, it should not be a problem.
that's true. And mostly, I think so. We will assume that everyone is at least being prepared for one tool. I mean, it could be a data wrapper or Tableau, Power BI, any tool. Okay, and maybe we can
Yes.
ask for a presentation on
Agreed.
that tool
Yes.
from
Yes.
each groups, or yeah, and that we can keep it as a study material for upcoming
And
batches.
since I don't think in live sessions
And
too many people will show up, we can also go round robin and say, okay, uh, one student, whichever tool they're comfortable with, pick that and go through it or whatever.
yeah. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, let's say like you are preparing for Tableau tool. Okay, so you just prepared a few slides and you just showed it to all other people. Okay, like 3 4 major tools are there, and yeah, you showed. So you did for one tool, and you showed like what are pro and cons, like how easy or how difficult it is to handle. Okay, so I mean, it will be helpful for others also to decide like which tool they should try. And other than that, I mean, it can be helpful for the upcoming batches.
Yes. And if there are enough different tools that people see, then automatically that abstraction comes out that,
Yeah.
Tableau does one particular thing in one way and Power BI does the same thing in different way, then that specifics will dissolve and only the core should remain ideally if we have
Yeah,
enough exposure to those things.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Other than that, I think things are pretty clear till now. I mean,
Yeah, and about this visualization course till now, I mean, as far as visualization went, we saw that the bar graphs, the scatter plot, and all these used to be visualizations for us, right? But if we look at the bigger picture, even a image that is representing certain things is nothing but a visualization. So we have to move out of that, few things that we already knew. We have to move out of it and explore things, right? So we also saw that in probably in week 2, the visualizations were done with the help of comparison, where 60 people, if they had taken bicycles or walked or taken a bus or their own cars, how would have that impacted on the streets, right? So all these are again visualizations which do not require or are not confined to only certain bar graphs and scatter plot and all those things. Right. So visualization in general, we have to look any information that can be transferred with some pictorial representation, and that will give us a lot of exposure to actually experiment how I would want to express certain data. Right. I mean, so for
That
anything we want.
precisely is the most challenging thing about this course. In fact, the only challenging thing about this course.
Right. Yeah. Correct.
Creating plots is very easy.
Yeah. So one data set converted into plots, that's all done. But here we have number of parameters, and I mean, uh, preparing visualization is one thing, and to be actually, to make it actually readable by not, giving data, but readable in terms of certain pictures and small, things that are there on pictorial visualization is something really good. So if we and I don't think any tool would be there to do that, and that's why we don't enforce certain tools. We'll definitely have sessions where a student come in, or we as an instructor come in and talk on certain, parameters, or what we can say features of a tool. That is one thing, but we don't have to take that as a, the sole part of the course.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, what Jaidev sir also told, that I think like if we have some solve with instructors wherein, I mean, it doesn't have to be about the tool, but also the approach matters, the way you reason and think about it also matters. So I think if we can have sessions that revolve around it, and we can choose any tool, like I think there is no restriction. Like it's just like, I mean, from AI ML perspective, PyTorch or TensorFlow, that is fine. But like we need to at least know that, okay, this is the pre-processing step, this is the model creation, then post-processing, training the model, getting inferences. So at least if that kind of abstraction can be done similarly for this course, then that will be really helpful to kind of go approach a problem algorithmically, know what kind of questions to ask and think about, and how to kind of make a prototype out of it. This will be very helpful. So that is what I'm really trying to say.
Right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
No, but actually, even like, thanks actually for saying that. When you said algorithmically thinking about this, that is where the challenge is. Like if we go into
Yeah.
that mode, then that sort of spoils the purpose entirely. Then
No, I
everybody will
mean, I
create
didn't.
exactly the same chart, right?
Yeah,
I
that,
get
that,
what you're saying. I get what
yeah,
you're saying
yeah,
entirely. It's
yeah.
that is the
But
balance we have to maintain, I guess.
yeah, I mean, it's
Yes.
just like, I mean, if I very philosophically, if I put it, it's like in life or something, like not everyone lives the same life, but we have some basic kind of rules that we shouldn't kill someone, or we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that, or we should
Right.
help someone, something like that. Basic set of sanity checks, basic set of things. And basically,
Axioms.
yeah.
Yeah. So one of that is something that we'll learn in this graded assignment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll try to plan it that way. I mean, not really focusing on a particular tool or a set of instructions, but how to go about the problem. The approach is something we'll look at, and we'll try to plan sessions according to those things.
Yeah, okay. I'm just adding, if it's possible for you to consider, like, I mean, it's not about the tool, but like, but just to illustrate the approach, if you could also use a tool, like instead of just like having a verbal discussion around it, if we can probably have a session wherein you also illustrate the principle via a tool. It doesn't, I mean, so again, the emphasis is not on the tool, but just to know how you are doing it on a tool. Because I mean, from my experience, the reason I'm coming to that is because usually in ML or AI, like knowing the algorithm is one thing versus coding it up is a different thing. And also coding depends on the framework that you're using, but still, if we get a good grounds on the one kind of framework, it really helps us to adopt a different framework as well. So again, it's not algorithmic or it's not similar to MLT, MLP, but still, if it will be really good if you could also illustrate it via tool. So that's just another suggestion if I had, like, if that's possible.
Right. We understood. Yeah, got it.
So just one more thing. I think for degree level courses, some courses are having these WhatsApp groups. So will we be having one for this course also? Like,
Yes, we can create one. That would be a good idea.
yeah, like if we have some queries or on-demand live sessions, like in design thinking, they are doing that only. Like, so
Yeah, we can create one.
I would recommend let's not do that. On WhatsApp groups, time pass ही ज़्यादा होता है उसमें, unfortunately.
Okay. I mean, in design thinking, that's not the case. Like, we are just asking genuine queries only. Like,
Oh, is it?
yeah, it's like pretty good. We are just asking only like every week there are probably just 4 or 5 messages, and all of them are relevant to the course
Well,
and
the
the
deep
project.
learning group, there are people are joking the entire day, and
No,
that
but
makes sense
it's with
because
the,
in deep learning there are jokes. So
I mean, it's with the course instructors, so that's why probably people are not joking around in this group. I mean, we have the unofficial and official group. So
I see. Okay.
this design thinking group is with Sukrat sir and Sham sir. So over there they have already said that if we need a session, we have queries for projects, etc. then we directly ask over there only, and that's what the messages are like most of the times, 90%.
Okay. So that if that is clarified in the beginning, then it's fine. But
Yeah, yeah.
your call ultimately.
Yeah, I think the unofficial group is good, but as Jadu says, no. I mean, this point is also there. Like people usually, I mean, starts posting and all. So that's
I mean, like there's enough Chat GPT jokes to go around. There are memes and everything, which is like everywhere you're seeing that only now. So the group sort of becomes spam.
yeah. Keeping a group is good, but yeah, that is also a thing. And since WhatsApp is too personal, I mean, if you sometime yeah, the important message gets messed up. I mean, that
Yeah,
also
okay,
happens.
sir. Then we can just put it on Discord, so that
Yeah,
doesn't.
but definitely, I think creating a group is a good idea. I mean,
I
I'm
mean, in
also not sure,
design
like,
thinking, they're managing it pretty well. So, I mean, I was just of the opinion if we can have something similar, then because this course also seems very different and new. So, lots of people, anyways, have any queries. So,
yeah,
in that sense, otherwise, like, it's up to you, sir. Like, I'm
yeah,
just
no,
giving on.
creating a group is a good idea. That is for sure. But creating it on WhatsApp or some other platform, that's a different thing.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Because WhatsApp is yeah too personal. I mean, so if we won't be able to manage this thing, okay, let me ask with others and yeah, and after that we can form a group. Okay,
Yeah, okay, sir. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so 2 points you said. One is this WhatsApp group, and second thing on the Discord. I mean, you are not able to mention that tag
Yes, sir.
of the 2 things. Okay. And regarding the assignment, I mean, I would say I would request sir to take at least one session in this week. And okay, if sir
Yes,
agrees,
sir.
then
Yeah.
yeah, definitely we will have one more session.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then all right. Yeah. Thanks for your time. Yeah. Bye. All.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.